All right, guys. Okay, so I'm going to go through the circulatory system and all of the body systems. And this is another review, just like the cells. So we're going to go through these one by one. Um, each video will have a different unit. So this one is our body systems unit. Now, just to reiterate what we have done for this section already, we did our body system projects. You guys made posters, okay, each individual for period 1 and 3, and then fourth, fifth, and sixth got to do their group body picture or group body projects. Okay, we did presentations on these. So if it is your body system, you should know these. All right. We also had somebody come in. Hudson's mom came in and explained to us what the lungs were and the respiratory system. Okay. If you guys remember all of this stuff. So just recalling all of that information from when we did body systems. Okay. So start putting yourself in that mindset of when we did body systems and remembering some of the things that we did. All right. Okay. So starting off in your notes, grab my notes here. All right. So we have our body systems. All right, so our circulatory system, we start with it. Okay, so our function is that it's going to transport blood, oxygen, nutrients throughout the body. Okay, so our body gets all of the nutrients and blood and oxygen that it needs to survive. Okay, so our cells need oxygen and nutrients. Our cells get those by our blood. So our blood transports all of those things to the cells so that the cells don't die. Okay, some essential organisms for this is our heart, our blood cells, and most importantly, maybe not most importantly, because our heart's pretty important, but our blood. Okay, can't happen without our blood. All right, so this is important because it keeps cells alive and functioning well. Now, how this works is the heart, okay, a heart that's located about right here, okay, pumps blood through arteries, capillaries, and veins, delivering that oxygen through the blood and nutrients through the blood to cells, but also removing waste, which we'll get into when we talk about the urinary system. Okay. So our circulatory system is all about our blood. Okay. Taking that oxygenated blood, that oxygen rich blood, okay, and putting it throughout our whole body so that our cells can get the oxygen that they need. All right. Respiratory system. Y'all should know this pretty easily because we had Hudson's mom in here, Miss Casey, talk to us all about the respiratory system. Okay, so its function, breathing plus gas exchange. Okay, so we have that gas exchange. Now, if you remember, when we breathe in oxygen. When we breathe out, we breathe out carbon dioxide. So, and there's the alveoli. Okay, sounds like ravioli. Okay, in the alveoli, those little sacs inside your lungs, okay, is where that gas exchange happens. So, those big sac or those small little sacs will get bigger and bigger and bigger the more that we breathe in. And then that exchange, so the oxygen comes in, the carbon dioxide leaves, that gas exchange happens in the alveoli. Okay. Essential organisms for this. Sorry, it's late again. Lungs, trachea, diaphragm. So your lungs, you saw those. We got to see live lungs in this class. Okay, so those lungs, they fill up like a balloon. All right. And the trachea, okay, it comes down straight, your windpipe comes down straight right here. You can touch it. Okay, remember those cartilages that are inside there that keep it and give it shape. And then your diaphragm, okay, your diaphragm is down here. All right, that diaphragm is that muscle that pushes the lungs up to help deflate it, and then goes down to help inflate it. Okay. So the importance here, or how it works, importance provides oxygen for cellular respiration and removes carbon dioxide. Okay. Carbon dioxide is a poison. If we breathe it in and we don't get that oxygen, then we die. Okay. So how does this work? Air is inhaled through the nose or mouth, trachea, okay, goes down the trachea, enters the lungs, and then where oxygen is absorbed into the bloodstream. Okay. Digestive system. Now, digestive system, it's digesting our food. Okay. We all know what digesting food is. So our digestive system is what is breaking down food for energy and nutrients. Okay. So we all know that we digest food, so that has to be our digestive system. All right. Essential organs for this: our mouth, our esophagus, our stomach, our small and large intestines. Okay. All of those play a role in digesting our food. So the importance for this is it's going to provide energy and nutrients for the bodily functions. Okay. All right. So how this works, food is mechanically and chemically broken down. So mechanically with your teeth and chewing, okay, chewing, and then chemically, not only through your saliva, but also your stomach acid. It breaks down that food, okay, and then as it goes to the digestive tract, there's nutrients that are absorbed into the small intestines. Now, small intestines has these little hairs on the inside of it, okay, and all of those nutrients, when they get caught in those little hairs, they're absorbed into the hairs, and then that's how your body gets the nutrients from their food. Okay. Now, if you remember, is that an autotroph or is that a heterotroph? Okay, think about it. It's a heterotroph. Okay. Heterotrophs get our food from nutrients that we eat. Okay, not from the sun. Autotrophs get it from the sun. Heterotrophs get it from what we eat. All right. Nervous system is our next one. Okay. This is our brain. Okay. It's electrical currents all over our bodies. Okay. So primary function is it's controlling and coordinating bodily functions. Okay. When we tell our hand to move, okay, we don't tell our heart to pump. We don't tell ourselves to breathe. We don't tell our eyes to blink. Okay. All of those things are done involuntary, but that's our brain keeping those things working without us even knowing them. Okay. When you pinch yourself on the arm, remember we did this. Okay. You pinch yourself on the arm. When you feel that, it is at the very same time, simultaneously, as you are touching yourself, as you are pinching yourself. Okay. If I touch my hand here, or if I pinch my hand, simultaneously, when I do that, it is sending a signal from here all the way up my arm into my spinal cord, into the back of my neck, into my brain, and telling me that hurts, or that you're feeling that, or my finger is on my hand. Okay. Crazy. All right. So essential organs for this: your brain, your spinal cord, your nerves. Okay. You have so many nerve endings. Okay. In 1 square inch on your hand, in your skin, you have over 7 miles of nerve endings. That's insane. You have so many nerve endings in that 1 square inch of your hand. So crazy. All right, so the importance here allows us to think, feel, react to our environment. We know when something's hot, when something's cold, when it's rough, when it's smooth. All of those things are because of our nervous system. All right, so how this works: the brain processes information from sensory organs, so our touch, okay, our 5 senses: touch, smell, hearing, seeing, and tasting. Okay, all 5 of those senses are going to send signals through the spinal cord and nerves to control body movements and functions. Okay. Skeletal system. Okay, easy. Skeletal system, skeleton. Okay, Steve is over in the corner. That's our skeletal system. Steve's a great he's a great look for that. Okay, great example. Okay, if you have any questions about it, go talk to Steve. He's got all the answers. All right, so function, support, movement, protection. Okay, so on your handout, it doesn't have any blanks for that, but it's going to provide structure. It's going to provide movement, and it's going to provide protection for our inner organs. Our ribs protect those organs. So some essential organs for this: bones, cartilage, ligaments, all of which play into that skeletal system. Okay, so why this is important is it's going to protect our inner organs. Okay, it's going to enable movement, so our joints. Okay, but it's also going to keep us upright. Okay, but we can't move with just bones, which we'll get into in just a second. All right. Now, the fun fact that I have on here is that bones, and what I think is the most important part of our skeletal system, is that bones create and produce blood cells. Okay, so without bones, without skeletal system, we wouldn't have a circulatory system. Without bones, we wouldn't have blood. Without blood, we would not be alive. Okay, all right. Muscular system. Now, I just said that with a skeletal system, that is not the only way that we move. It does promote movement with our joints. Okay, our elbow is a joint, our wrist is a joint, our fingers have joints. Every part that moves has a joint. So, but we have to have the muscular system in order for those joints to move. Okay. Anytime that we move, we are using some kind of muscle. So remember when I had you put your hand out in front of you and put it down, lift it up, put it down, lift it up. Okay. And see what muscles you're using. Do that again. Okay. When you put it down, you're pushing it down with your bicep. Okay. When you pull it up, you're pulling up with your bicep. Okay, you're also using your tricep back here. You're pushing it down with your tricep, pulling it up with your bicep. Okay, so everything that we are doing, every movement that we make is based off of our muscles. Okay, so essential organs for this, go to my notes here. Okay, essential organs for this: skeletal muscles and our tendons. Okay, now it says, how does it work? That is your bullet here. So muscles work by contracting and relaxing, okay, and with bones working together with bones and joints to create movement. Okay, you can add that last part in there if you'd like. All right, now some other muscles or some other body systems. Our endocrine system. Okay, our endocrine system is very important. It regulates hormones, produces and regulates hormones. Okay, so some major organs with this is the pituitary gland, the thyroid, the pancreas, adrenal glands. All of this release and regulate hormones within the body. Okay, so controlling growth, metabolism, mood. Okay, when you're happy, when you're sad. Sometimes if you are depressed, it could be an issue with your thyroid or your pituitary gland or your pancreas or adrenal glands. Okay, some of those put out too much or don't put out enough of different hormones and it affects your mood. Or if you are like a teenage boy and you are starving hungry all the time, it's because you have a high metabolism. And when you eat something, your body burns through it so quickly that you need more food. Okay. which is, I know is like 90% of the middle school boys in this class, probably. Okay, you eat food and 10 seconds later, you're hungry again. Okay, that's because of your endocrine system. So, how does this work? Glands release hormones into the bloodstream, and then that travels to whatever targeted organs and relates to that function. Okay. All right, your immune system. Now, this goes hand in hand with the lymphatic system, which we will get into in a minute. I think your immune system is here, and then your lymphatic system is the last one that you do. So, our immune system function is it defends the body against diseases and infections. So, these include your white blood cells, your lymph nodes, your spleen, all of which are going to try to help you not get sick. Okay, so antibodies. When you get a sickness, okay, your body builds up antibodies. Basically, what these are is it's a copy of that specific sickness. And so when that sickness comes back, okay, if your body ever sees it again, it knows and already has antibodies built up and it knows how to fight it. So keeps you from getting sick. This is why we take vaccines. Vaccines are small little versions of whatever virus they are supposed to protect you from. And so your body takes that vaccine and creates antibodies so that when it actually sees it again, it knows how to fight it off so that you don't get sick. Okay. So, how this works, I just explained a little bit about it, but it recognizes and attacks foreign substances like bacteria and viruses and remembers them for the future defense. Okay, so your body is basically building up a memory of different diseases. So, when it sees it, it recognizes it like, hey, I know you, back off. All right. It's like, I've seen you before. You can keep walking. All right. Bye bye. Okay, basically what it's saying. All right, urinary system. Okay, so this is your urine. This is how you remove waste and excess water from your body. All right, so your kidneys, your uterus, your bladder, your urethra. So what happens is it's maintaining your fluid balance and removing toxins. So your kidneys filter the water out of your blood. Okay, they filter the toxins, remove waste and excess water, which then gets stored in the bladder and then exits your body through the urethra. So I'm sure that most of you have gotten, especially in this class, because everybody wants to go to the bathroom every 10 seconds, you get that feeling and that thought in your mind of, oh, no, I need to go to the bathroom. I've got to pee. And so then it's because of this in your bladder, there's a nerve. And once that nerve gets triggered, it tells the brain, hey, I need to go to the bathroom. And so when that gets triggered, you know you need to go to the bathroom. You go to the bathroom, you relieve yourself, you come back, and that nerve is no longer triggered. So that's how we know that we need to use the bathroom because of nerves. So tying in that nervous system. Okay, integumentary system. Okay, I know Katie, I believe, had this one. So this protects your body and is the largest organ that we have. Okay, this is your skin, your hair, your nails. Okay, it acts as a protective barrier against the environment and helps maintain body temperature. Okay, a lot of you missed this on the quiz that we did. So, how this works, okay, regulates temperature. That is your bullet on here. Now, I'd like you to write some more on these. So, if you didn't already, go back and write more to the right side. I left you some blank space over there to write some other notes. But as the integumentary system is going to act as a barrier against the environment and helps maintain body temperature or regulates body temperature. Okay. Last but not least, certainly not, lymphatic system. Probably one of my favorite ones because it's very interesting how it removes excess fluids and tissues or from tissues and supports immune function. So, and if you ever get sick, the worst part for me about getting sick is these lymph nodes. They get swollen, you can't move your neck is stiff, and you have fluid draining out of your ears and out of your nose and out of your face and going down the back of your throat. And all of that fluid has to go somewhere. So your lymphatic system takes that gunk and puts it into a lymph vesicle or a lymph node. Okay. And that lymph vesicle is full of enzymes that help break those things down and then push the good stuff back into your bloodstream. Okay. So maintaining fluid balance, okay, fights infections. And how this works is it's going to collect excess fluid from tissue. Okay, filters it through lymph nodes and then returns it to the bloodstream. Okay, so kind of went through that already, but there's not much on these things that you need to write, but I can tell you that you should probably write more on the sides of things, because when you go through the comprehensive midterm review, you might want those. Okay, we're not to Newton's laws yet, and I only have 8 minutes left of this video, or to make this, and I'm not going to get through Newton's laws. So we'll try to do Newton's laws as well as our energy stuff next time. All right, so one more video down, 2 more to go. I believe in you guys. Keep working hard. I wish that I was there to teach all of this and reteach all of this stuff to you. I'm sorry that I'm not, but hopefully I'll be there soon. Okay. So keep at it. Complete this. Make sure you're completing your comprehensive review. Okay. If you need to rewatch this while you're doing that, that's perfectly fine. But get stuff done. Okay. I'm proud of you guys. You guys have been troopers through all of this, so keep at it. All right. Okay. Till the next time. Bye, guys.